All right, so at the end of the show yesterday, and that was the 6th of January, and I did the show, and by the end, I got all these messages, a couple of super chats that were coming in, and they were saying they're storming the Capitol. They're storming the Capitol. Now, I was doing the show, so I had no idea what was going on. I didn't really have any thoughts on it because I didn't know what this even meant. It ends. Show ends. I have to sort of get up to date and up to speed, if you will, with what's going on. And I see that people did just that, in which they were in the actual, Capitol building, kicking their feet up, and some of these guys' offices and what have you. First thing that I immediately noticed was how people started freaking out. It's an insurrection, that these guys are terrorists, all sorts of that was coming out, and they're freaking out. Hey, we've been evacuated, this and that. And I'm sitting here looking at this as all of this plays out like, so you mean to tell me that Trump supporters had enough sense? Trump supporters are people that were there. I don't think it's fair to just assess them as simply Trump supporters, so most of them maybe are. But I'm like, okay, so they went directly to the source of the issue, who their gripes are with. We talk about certifying this whole election in which they feel as if they have been screwed out of. And a hilarious thing is that they didn't even have the decency. Now, I've long said that the elections are a quack. That's just been my position. But they didn't even bother to try to prove that it wasn't. You didn't get even a 10-day audit. You didn't even get that. They basically said, this is what it is. Live with it. You lost, blah, blah, blah. Never mind the videos. Never mind all the stuff that has come out, the questionable methods in which they, even though this was a unique year when you consider all the mail-in voting and all of this is a very unique year, you didn't even get an audit. Now, like I said, doesn't really necessarily apply to me because I think it's quack, but it's like, to me, they're proving that it's quack because they're like, yeah, all of this is going on. We're not even going to audit anything. You're going to have to live with it. So they went to whatever. They started kicking their feet up. Unfortunately, someone did end up getting shot and killed by the police. I believe it was a young woman, if I'm not mistaken. But aside from that, it wasn't much to it. They went to the Capitol. The Capitol gets under control. It wasn't even like set on fire or anything like that. It wasn't any instance like that, because when it was all said and done with later that night, they reconvened like nothing happened. Okay? So with that being said, I want to go to the receipts. Again, the reason why I wanted to do this show and the reason why this segment is existing, because I want you guys to see that I long differentiate myself from a lot of what you guys hear from maybe conservative commentators, milquetoast in the middle commentators, and all of that sort of thing. Let's go to the receipts real quick. Now, you remember me saying this. Now, I'm showing you text, but if you go watch my videos on the George Floyd riots, I said exactly this. And what it is back in May, like I said, no, I don't, blah, blah, blah. I said the people that address the issues with the actual precincts, good. People that loot innocent businesses, bad. This is easy. So go watch those videos, because I said that exact thing. I was like, the only people that have a leg to stand on, that doesn't mean they can go, they have to go uncriticized. No, I'm saying that there's more merit to what it is that they're doing, more merit to their actions when they're going directly to the precinct. I was not the one sitting here defending them in the event that they are defending the police or something like that, in the event they were clashing at the precincts or something. That you never heard me say that. Why? Because at minimum, you're at least going to the source of the issue. But that's not what y'all did. That's not what y'all did. Instead, what you did was burn down half the damn city, looting businesses that had absolutely nothing to do with this. Some of y'all did go to the precincts. Most of you didn't. Same thing applies here, right? Congress, and this is the harsh reality, this is where I'm gonna lose some of y'all. I'm perfectly fine with that. Are among the biggest criminal class that exists in this country. Now, most of your conservative commentators, the guys that are actual conservatives, and certainly none of your leftist commentators, they would never say that. It's because I'm not on their team. They're among the biggest criminal class. That's not my opinion. This is what it is. A lot of the things, a lot of sources, a lot of things that you guys gripe about, right? When you consider all the war efforts that they voted for, all these y'all just now starting to talk about the pork-filled bills. What you think they've been doing for decades? Career politicians getting these positions of power, they live there, they get rich off of taxpayer money. They're among the biggest criminal class, right? And ain't this something? The Trump supporters was one of the more efficient. I'm not even going to classify that as a riot, because when I think riot, I think like multiple instances of businesses being like, destroyed and all that sort of stuff. I don't really care what you guys call it. Yeah, folks went into the Capitol, started kicking their feet up, doing whatever it was, and then they had to leave. That was what happened. We can't even make this an equivalency, because that's not what the leftists, when they did their little thing post George Floyd for days on days on days on end, they weren't even that efficient. They at least I'll give them that. Now, again, I'm not one of those guys that would tell you to go do that, because I understand that comes with a set of conflict that they may just shoot y'all dead. This is why I would never say, look, man, I wouldn't say go do it, because I'm not going to sit up here and tell people to march to their death. However, in the sense that you have the frustration with the criminal class, again, that's the funny thing. They didn't even give you an audit. Now, it's easy for me, the anarchist at the table, to sit here and say, yeah, it's a quack. All these elections, people are selected. They're faking, frauding. I could say all of that all day long, right? And you expect that from me because I'm an anarcho-capitalist. However, y'all believe in this, and you couldn't even get an audit on a year that is unlike any other that we've had in recent history. That is a very unique way that they have been counting these votes. They didn't even have the decency to look into it. So I don't, if you believe in that, I can understand why you're mad. You didn't even get that. They basically said, yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on, and sure, this was a kind of a unique year. Are we going to audit the votes or anything? No, we're not going to do shit. Go fuck yourself. That's what they told you. You had enough sense to go before, the whole instance we talking about certifying this election. So you had enough sense to take it to the folks that you felt had that in their hands, which they did, right? I have less of a problem with that. Now, if Trump supporters went and started burning down the damn Wendy's, okay, then we have a problem. But I will say this. When it comes to this whole ordeal, and to sit here and watch leftists literally clutch pearls, faint on the couch. Oh my God, how could they do that? They're so angry that they go to the criminal clutch pearls, faint on the couch. Never seen anything like it. The reason why that's so hilarious to me when I see that coming from that side, and I have an instance, and I'm going to show you an example of this. But you're seeing why folks like myself and myself, of course, have long said that the state is their religion. The state's their religion. Because what they have essentially said, and I'm going to show you an example of this, is that you can burn down your neighbor's house, business. It's okay because insurance. It's just property. Why do you care so much about that than you do about the wrongdoings by way of the police, is what they say. Okay, bet. you go to you go directly to who you feel is the source of the actual problem. You avoid burning down people's businesses or anything like that. Okay. And then they say that there's something wrong with that. Like this person says, the Capitol, world's greatest physical symbol of democracy. And then she says it's just property like some, downtown 7-Eleven, basically saying that I'm conflating the two. So what she's essentially saying is the 7-Eleven is worthless. It's okay for them to get burned down, but it's unlike the Capitol. And that's the crazy thing, because the Capitol didn't get burned down, number one. That's not what happened. But nonetheless, they're saying that it's okay for you to do that. But the minute you go to their monuments, the minute you go to their symbols, where they are actually housed, the largest criminal class, or the most powerful criminal class, is actually housed, there's a problem. You can't do that. Clutch my pearls, faint on the couch. And by the way, they were literally clutching their pearls. Some great pictures that came out of this. I'm gonna see if I can find them. Some folks took some great pictures on that. Let's see if I can find something like that. They were literally clutching their pearls. The 7-Eleven, going back to that other person's point, is far more valuable than Congress as far as I'm concerned. They also aren't as violent. But think about that, guys. Seriously, you can go destroy your neighbor, but the source of the problem, any event that there's a disruption, there's an issue. And by the way, you give something credit, you give them credit when you say that something's like a threat to democracy. That's music to my damn ears, as far as I'm concerned. But think about that, guys. The peasants, y'all can fight among yourselves. Y'all don't come for us. So again, you can't pin that on me. Well, what about when Black Lives Matter was blah, blah, blah? You didn't hear me say anything. In fact, I said they had a point if they went directly to the precincts. I got the receipts. So you can't pin that on me. And this is why when I talk, I'm not saying that they're allies. What I'm saying is this is where libertarians and conservatives lose. Because what's happening right now, there's a bunch of conservative and libertarian commentators, leaders who are sitting here trying to fall over each other, to rush to condemn what happened, right? They're falling over themselves. I disavow. That is not how we do things. Blah, 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 blah. And I'm sitting here like, y'all dumb as a motherfucker. Straight up. Y'all dumb as a box of rocks. First and foremost, the other side, the leftists, will never reciprocate that. They didn't when it happened. When the businesses were being burned down and all that stuff, they weren't running up, falling over each other and say, we condemn that. Absolutely not. They never did that. You're going to get absolutely nothing out of this. Nothing. They'll never reciprocate. And this goes back to why they, not only when it comes to this election cycle, but why as of recently, no matter how you feel about Trump, y'all have been losing, okay? This is the reality of the situation when it comes to non-leftist or non-progressive movements over the past decades. You've been losing. Why? Because you have an inability to be able to read the damn play as it develops. You can't even read the defense, man. You can't read. It's an obvious blitz situation, and you can't read it. Yes, I got to use sports analogies, and the analogies that I'll use is that you're trying to fight honestly. And you're so worried about fighting honestly, right? Meanwhile, your opponent has loaded their gloves. They have weighted gloves. And they bought off the judges and they bought off the referee. And you worried about fighting straight up. Got fools in my comments or in my, retweeting me and saying, well, we do this because it's right. It's right. All of that stuff y'all be talking about, liberty, it's just complete nonsense. And I'd rather y'all just come out and say that, right? I'd just rather y'all come out and say that because y'all, every single time, the criminal class gets the criminal at the federal level, that criminal class goes virtually unscathed. And in the event that anybody takes it up with them, and again, you'd have a point if there was a situation where they just walked in the junt and just started airing everybody out. But that's not what happened, right? It was a disruption. That's not what happened. So we can't even speak about the what ifs. I know folks talking about, well, it was a rumor of a pipe bomb. Show the receipts. Show the receipts, man, because I've yet to see them. I heard what you're talking about, but show the receipts. And that's the thing with the corporate media. They're going to spin this in whatever way. So why y'all falling over yourselves to sit up here and try to demonize X class of people that was so frustrated with this outcome? They feel like they've been screwed over. And before the certification, they went up there and caused a little bit of a disruption. It's not about even the fact that they went and did that, because again, I never told them to go do that. And I would never tell anybody to go do that, because that's going to come with its thing of consequence. But I'm more so looking at the cultural reaction. And now y'all are seeing, for those of y'all that follow, let's say, a lot of these milquetoast ass conservative commentators, that's not how we do things. That's not how we do it. Man, meanwhile, the left saying the same thing. We don't do that. Y'all are taking it to our church. Our state church, y'all taking it to us. You can't do that. Meanwhile, when their side goes to burn down y'all's entire block where y'all work, they don't fall. They'll act like it don't even exist. The leftist leaders, the progressives, the Democrats, they'll act like it don't even exist. That's why I said that the game was rigged from the start. And the minute y'all realize that, and this is my next sort of thing, right? I want to hone that energy. A lot of these Trump supporters and people that have generally supported Republicans and conservatives are frustrated right now. And this is where I come in, and I'm sitting there trying to get y'all to channel that energy in a proper way. The people that you have supported over the past decades have done absolutely nothing to stop moving towards full-blown state socialism. Absolute state socialism. This includes y'all's Lord and Savior, Donald Trump. Okay. It's a harsh reality. It's a hard pill to swallow, but this is the reality of the situation. Maybe there's something wrong with what it is that you guys have been doing. Maybe the government's too big. Maybe it's a little too strong. Maybe it doesn't make a lot of sense for people to be able to have this sort of democratic election, put people in office that then go off to Washington and vote on us, claiming to vote on your behalf if y'all sit here as peasants at each other's neck. Maybe there's a problem with that. And this is why I said in the last show, and that was the question that I proposed. For every single election cycle, it's, well, we can't do that now, right? We can't do something different now because the Democrats are going to win. Well, let's recap. They won this go around. You can say it's because the game's rigged. Doesn't even matter, actually. They won this go round. And over the past decade, it's not like we've been moving towards liberty. That includes the last 4 years. It's not like we've been as a country moving towards liberty. You've got nothing out of this. You've been progressively moving towards more state socialism. And a lot of that has been facilitated by the Republican Party, complicit, or they've been utterly useless in stopping it. So maybe it's time for something a little different. And that's where I come in, right? That's where I come in, is that, when I know it seems so unrealistic for some of you guys, and some of y'all are starting to see, right, why I am the way that I am. But they sit here and like, you're crazy. All of this libertarian talk and all of this is insane. It's blah, blah, blah. Like, don't sound so crazy now. Like I said, I'd make the argument, when I talk about secessionism, that actually may be our most peaceful route out of this, believe it or not. Contrary to the beliefs, a lot of folks will say, well, it's going to have to come with war because the public indoctrination camps that at schools unfortunately conflated secession with civil war, right? But I can make the argument and I have been making the argument that actually is to the contrary. That may be the less amount of bloodshed, because you're sitting here forcing a culturally divided people have to share a government with each other. And you're seeing that it's getting worse because that divide continues to grow. Now, I have less of a problem with the divide itself. I'm not one of these kumbaya, save the republic, we're in this together type of dudes. I don't care. I embrace our differences. The problem is that there's this gigantic institution that rules over 50 states of people that have so many differences, and that right there is a problem. Right? And it's growing difference. This doesn't mean we can't trade with each other. This doesn't mean that we can't be cordial with one another. But I feel like both sides should be able to concede that there's a problem because we're culturally, fundamentally, and philosophically so different. There's no sense in why we're sharing a government with each other, because all we're doing is one side gets power, and then they enforce laws or what have you that you don't want to exist, that are antithetical to what a big block of the population believes in. That creates tension. So that's why I make the argument that, no, it's not that, well, it's going to guarantee bloodshed. I don't know if y'all been paying attention as of late. What direction are we moving in? If anything, that may be the way that we get on the other side of this with minimum. That doesn't mean it won't be conflict, but that will minimize at minimum the conflict, because the way that we're going right now is heading towards what you fear in the event that we actually had some actual, I don't know, secession movement. It's unbelievable. But y'all keep not listening to me. Y'all keep listening to the milquetoast conservatives. Y'all keep listening to all of these crackheads who sit up here and say, fight the power, all of these issues. And the minute that anybody comes into conflict with the largest criminal class, you sit there and clutch your pearls every single time. Every single time. I don't know what it's going to take y'all to get it. I don't know. I want y'all to get it. Because let me just take a couple of steps back. I empathize with the idea because a lot of y'all, you love the country. You like the idea of these concepts, a lot of what the country stands for. I can understand that. I can totally understand that. What you have to, though, understand is that there's a growing big block of people that hate you. Right? They absolutely hate you. They want to rule over you. They want to force you. They want to confiscate your private property. They want to regulate you to death, and they all want to use that beloved state, that beloved institution, that for whatever reason, anytime someone comes into conflict with it, you clutch your pearls. That beloved institution, they have no problem using that to force you to do whatever it is that they want. And again, it's been growing. We've moved not further from absolute state socialism. We've moved closer. And your beloved Republicans that you keep saying that we have to support because the Democrats are going to get away with the loot have done nothing to stop it. Nothing. They've done nothing. At best, they've been complicit, and they have actually, and this just went with Reagan too. All of the guns. It's funny people say, but talk about this Second Amendment. Second Amendment. Left is taking away our Second Amendment. Man, Reagan got the crap on y'all's beloved Second Amendment, and y'all just let him do it. Trump passes a bump stock ban. That was not just a bump stock ban. That executive order was very, very dangerous. I encourage y'all to read it, in which they sit up here and talk as if, hey, we can reclassify things that aren't machine guns. We can reclassify them as machine guns and then therefore ban them. That is a dangerous precedent to set that is going to come back to bite you in the ass. But hey, Lord and Savior Trump said it. He did it. It was all good. You know what I'm saying? It's not. It just had to get the left off his back. They had to give him something. Yeah, that's exactly what the left has been doing, guys. Trump did whatever he did, and now the left has stopped wanting to ban AR-15s. That's what they did, guys. It worked. Come on, man. Are y'all fucking stupid? Don't answer that question, because I know you are. maybe not stupid. Maybe you are stupid. Perhaps the more precise term is that you're gullible. I do believe that there can be more freedom, not absolute freedom, and it won't be this utopia, but I do believe in my lifetime, and this is why I'm a little more optimistic than a lot of other people. I do believe in our lifetime we can move further towards liberty, the acknowledgement of private property rights. We can move closer to that, but what it's going to have to take is for, and I think and this is what I'm talking about with the conservatives, right? You don't understand how much power you have because you are the other big block, right? You're the other big block of people that exist within this country, right? You have the mainstream progressives, and then you got the mainstream people that call themselves more so conservatives. Those are the two largest blocks when it comes to political philosophy or whatever it is that you want to call it in this country. Any event that block. And it's not like I'm telling you to change your principles, right? You guys claim to like capitalism. You guys claim to like free enterprise. You guys claim to like the free market. It's just you've been supporting people that's been antithetical to that concept. That's all. So I'm not even asking you to adjust. It's like even going back to what Reagan said, even Reagan had enough sense to at least say that, yeah, well, a conservative is actually a libertarian. It always has been. So you're starting to see, though, now when it comes to the cops that you've been worshiping, when it comes to these politicians that you've been worshiping, this includes Donald Trump. When it comes to these guys, and this is why I had said that I think it's a misassessment to think that this is simply about Trump. I think what you're seeing is a lot of people's frustration coming to fruition. They feel like they're being screwed. And you should feel like that because you have been. Like I said, I will admit that it's a quack election. I think all these elections are quack at the federal level. The thing is that you don't. And instead of actually saying, okay, there's this growing evidence, all of this corrupt bull crap going on, you couldn't even get an audit for 10 days. You couldn't even they didn't even give you that. They didn't even give you that. They just said, shut up, take it, you lost. Damn be the evidence. Damn be the fact that this was a very unique year in which we've done this voting thing in different ways than we've never done it. And the excuse was the pandemic. You couldn't even get an audit, bro. They didn't even give you that. So hopefully, and this is why I want you to channel that energy to start thinking about some of the things that you do in your immediate life that you can do to combat that. And I think it starts with the people that you guys claim to support. This is not just with people that are politicians, people that are, in government. I'm talking about some of your leaders too, that y'all have been listening to, that have been leading the charge. And in the event that you took it right to the criminal class, what did they tell you? They disavow. You should be tried. You're a terrorist. All these other stuff. It's like, wow, man. So they didn't keep that same energy up when people are burning down your businesses. It goes to show, who do they really care about? They care about saving their own bacon. The state is their religion, and that's why we say that. Hopefully you guys, if nothing else, out of this, you see it for what it actually is and start making an adjustment. I'm not telling you to go vote third party. I'm not telling you to go support a libertarian party member. That's not what I'm telling you to do. I think it starts with culture and it's on the downstream. As I've always said, you can go watch my previous videos. I'm not going to bore you to death about what I mean by that. You change the culture, you change the politics by default. I think we can all, though, at least I hope we all agree that there is something fundamentally wrong, that we're sharing this massive government in the event that we hate each other.